this is Jenna.
And I'm Heather.
And this is Conspiracies Unlocked. Today, we are going all the way to Russia.
Ooh, it's cold in Russia.
Snowy, Siberia. That's where people get banished.
Like the Siberian tigers.
Rawr. So, there was an event that happened in Siberia on the Tunguska River.
Tunguska?
Tunguska River.
That doesn't sound Russian to me. I don't know why.
You know what it does sound like? Siberian. Because it's in Siberia.
Okay.
It reminds me of whenever we go to the San Diego Zoo and we go down the Tiger Trail. I could picture that trail being called Tunguska.
Yeah.
It does, yeah. But I don't know if that's because it's more African. Because it does sound more African.
Yeah,
than it does Siberian.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this event is pretty unexplained. There was on June 30th, 1908 at 7:17 in the morning local time.
It's very specific.
There was an explosion in the middle of the Siberian forest.
Whoa, that's weird. In the middle of the forest?
It was 1,000 times stronger than the atomic bomb at Hiroshima.
So it's like natural gases that built up in the earth? Or what could that be?
Well, let's continue. This explosion sent a shockwave that flattened 830 square miles.
Wow, that's...
of land.
Yeah.
Of trees, forest, landscape. There were a few buildings that got the windows were like blown out of and just damaged, obviously. And this is like the largest explosion of our history. Ever since like the prehistoric dinosaur times, because obviously something happened to the dinosaurs that would be something of this magnitude.
Okay, so they're comparing it to the dinosaur extinction?
Yeah, like it was really, really, really gnarly.
Oh, wow. That's much bigger than I even was imagining.
835 square miles. That's like bigger than like the state of Washington, I think. Definitely bigger than Rhode Island. Rhode Island is only 18 square miles. It's like bigger than.
Well, Rhode Island is tiny. Yeah.
I think California is. I wonder how many. Let's find out really quick. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm really curious because I'm trying to imagine it, but I need more of a visual.
Okay, so California is 163,000 square miles. Never mind it. It was not the size of California.
Well, then...
What about Rhode Island? Maybe Rhode Island for square miles. Rhode Island is 1 square mile. It's like nothing. That can't be. Oh, no. No. Okay. Rhode Island is 1,545 square miles. So, Rhode Island is bigger than we thought. So it's like half of the size of Rhode Island was completely flattened.
Oh, wow.
But that's still big. I mean, I've never been there, so I don't really, I can't imagine how small
just imagine
the state is.
Half of Rhode Island just being gone. How many people live in Rhode Island?
Well, there was no people here.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, that will help you give a perspective of how 1.1 million residents.
Is that what it says? Where do you see that?
Well, it's right there.
Well, that's not a lot. That's less. San Diego has 3 million.
But it's still like 500,000 people, if there was people. It's a lot of people.
Okay.
If I look at it as people, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of trees.
Yeah, 500,000 trees. Or more.
Probably more.
Definitely more. So, meanwhile, the eyewitnesses that obviously the eyewitnesses were reported from all around that area. And they reported seeing a bright ball of fire streak through the sky before the explosion. Just like the fucking dinosaurs, as they always say, the meteor came. Yeah. And then, but get this, a huge cloud of ashes reflected the sun and it lit up the entire sky where you could like read in the dark, like at nighttime. Quote unquote at nighttime, you know?
Yeah.
people in Europe and Asia, both, like all of Europe, all of Asia, were able to see at night for 3 days until the ash settled.
Wow.
But, okay, this is interesting. No one investigated the site. No one went there. No one did anything for 20 fucking years.
20 years?
20 years.
Were they afraid of some kind of radiation or
something? No. It was due to the fact that it was in such a remote location, and, like, obviously they didn't have helicopters then, so it's not like they just helicopter in, fly in, you know?
Okay.
And it was in fucking Siberia, Heather. Like, it's in the middle of nowhere. That's like where the people in the movies, they get banished to Siberia. Like Monsters, Inc., they banish them to the snowy Siberian mountains of Russia.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. It's very rough terrain.
Yes.
It's very dangerous. You don't have access.
Trying to get there would be, you know, an event. It would be a trek.
It was nearly impossible for them for the time.
Yes. And then another reason was because of politics. The Russian Revolution happened, and then the Civil War happened. And they were just, like, not concerned with giving any resources to scientists for, like, scientific researches or advancements. They were more concerned with, like, I don't know, surviving. So they also didn't realize that it was, like, some weird anomaly. They just thought that it was an earthquake because England was able to record on their, like, seismographs. They were able to record the event, and they recorded the initial shockwave. Then there was another, like, shockwave that happened when it circled the whole fucking planet and came back again.
So it was an aftershock that circled the whole
planet. And everyone assumed that it was just some sort of earthquake, that it wasn't that weird of a thing to occur. Finally, in 1921, mineralogist Leonid A. Kulik took a major interest to this event after he was reading old newspapers, and he started to get, like, all into it, like, let's figure out what this is. This is so crazy. How did this happen? Why did we go look at it more? So in 1927, he finally convinced the Academy of Sciences to fund his research and travel to the site. So that reminds me of, if you guys have seen the Disney movie, The Jungle Cruise, when they are going ahead, like, in front of they're going in front of, like, this whole arena of people, and they're all major scientists that are going to fund their trip to go to the Nile River to go find the whatever.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen the movie?
I've never seen the movie.
You haven't? It's so good. You guys, you have to go see it.
I've been on the ride.
No, that doesn't count. Yeah. Okay. So anyways.
It is like an expedition ride, though. Yes. When you go through, you are exploring. So I can understand that. Yeah.
So anyways, he had to get people to, like, fund the research, and the scientific academy would be in charge of that. And he wanted to prove that it was a meteor, and was certain he would find this, like, gigantic crater in the center of, like, the epicenter of it.
That makes sense, especially if they thought that it could be a meteor.
And as we've said, going into the Siberian forest was, like, not an easy task. They even had Siberian guides. But even the guides got to the outskirts of the explosion and made them go back due to the superstitions around the area that they had always. So you have, like, these, like, indigenous Siberian forest people that are like, oh no, we can't go there, because they've grown up for the last 20 years with these urban legends of, like, God knows what. So, Kulik did see all the trees that had been blown over, and they had been stripped of all their leaves and branches, and they just looked like large logs in an outward circular pattern. So he was able to, like, see the damage, but on that expedition, he was never able to get to the center of it.
But there was a crater.
There was
thought to be a crater.
Yes, so he's still under the assumption that he would find this large crater.
Okay.
So, of course, Kulik went back, but he never found a meteor, and there was no crater, just an empty place in the middle of what was a once dense forest that was now flat.
It just
cleared it in a circular area, but there was no crater.
Yeah.
Where if there's impact like that, there should be a crater, or like there should be a big ass indent in the fucking earth.
Yeah, if something fell.
Yeah,
the landing.
The impact, there'd be something like a big ass crater. Mm-hmm. But it has been 20 years, so maybe it filled, but then the trees, like, it doesn't make sense. So what they did find there was...
It wouldn't have filled that much like that. No.
Yeah, no. And the fucking Grand Canyon is still there.
I mean, 20 years is not
that long in the scheme of the earth.
Yeah, I know.
So what they did find some things, and they found a rare mineral, tungsten, which is, I didn't realize was super rare, but because Brad's wedding ring is tungsten. Mm-hmm. But usually tungsten is not found in the Siberian forest, and tungsten is also a common mineral that is found in meteors. Mm-hmm. So that goes back to the whole meteor thing. They also found iridium, which also comes from comets and meteors, and they found silicon carbide, which is once again another material that is this one is only found in comets and meteors. So how did all these like outer space minerals end up here at the location of this happening?
Is it possible that there was a meteor, but for whatever reason it didn't create a crater?
Yeah, there would have to. That would be the most, like, obviously the first theory would be that it was an asteroid. But not just any asteroid. They think it was the Stony asteroid, which is the most common asteroid floating around the Earth. And these asteroids travel 33,000 miles per hour and heats the air around it to 44,000 degrees.
Mm-hmm. And would
That's
keep
so
that
much.
heat as it went into our atmosphere?
Well, it may have exploded 28,000 feet above the Earth. So if it exploded there, then that would be...
There would be no
crater. Mm-hmm. There would be no remnants. There would be remnants of the asteroid, just not of the indent of the crater, because it would have been small pieces. Mm-hmm. And this type of asteroid does contain all the random minerals that were found at the site. So the only question is, where's the crater? But obviously, if it had exploded, then there wouldn't be.
Yeah.
So that seems like the most obviously probably what happened. But there's also other theories. The kimberlite explosion is another theory. The kimberlite is a rock, and this is a type of an explosion that comes from inner Earth. It forms under high pressure, and it can even create diamonds. And this could have been a massive kimberlite explosion that flattened the trees when the methane gas trapped in the kimberlite was released and finally like hit Earth's surface.
And it went up.
So
like that.
So it would have gone up instead of in, which would be why there's no crater.
And the trees would just go
flatten from which, that even makes a little bit more sense.
And that was my first thought too, is I thought it was some kind of gas from internal.
Yeah, you had said that. Yeah. So the only thing is, why would the minerals be there? But then again, the Earth has been here forever. Maybe there was an explosion 1 billion years ago, or like a comet that came down 1 billion years ago. And maybe that's why tungsten and all these minerals are there. I mean, we don't know what happened on that Earth from the beginning.
Yeah, so you're saying that when that explosion from inside happened, then it released all of the minerals that were already in there.
It could have, yeah. That is not what I was saying, but that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, that's what it sounded like. It seemed like you were saying
I was headed that way, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I maybe I would have put it together in my head that I was headed that
because
way,
if it's coming out this way with enough force that it's, disrupting the trees to like flattening the trees and making all the leaves and everything come off, then why wouldn't the earth, like the soil, would also be disrupted?
Yeah.
And whatever's in
that
the
would
soil,
make sense. It would,
all the sediment, like you said, for millions of years, it's gonna
come out. Yeah. Yeah.
I can see that.
I like that one. Another one, but don't forget that the bystanders saw the fire, the ball of light come in.
No. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that one goes away.
But wait, when it explodes, what is it, what'd you call it,
Kimberlite explosion.
Okay, kimberlite.
Mm-hmm.
And must.
Lite though. But it forms underneath. So right before the explosion, they saw the light come from the sky.
So the kimberlite doesn't make light?
No.
Oh.
No, because it's Lite, not Light.
I know, but I just thought maybe that was just how they were.
I don't know.
Because the name itself implies that is some kind of
Yeah.
light source.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right. It does, but no, I don't think that's correct.
Okay.
But it would make sense for if you did want to play that way, because you know how you'll see, like you see lightning and then thunder happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that they saw the light before they heard.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that
light travels faster.
Yeah, so that would make sense even if it did happen right after. If the light came up right after the explosion, they wouldn't have heard the explosion until after they saw the light. Does that make sense?
It does, because light travels faster than sound.
I'm
so
like,
you're gonna see the light before you hear the sound.
My head literally, like, you know that
science.
Yeah, you know that meme of Julia Roberts where she's like has that weird look on her face, and there's all these like weird science math equations behind her. Like, that's how I felt for a second. I'm like, what is
I need to
going
put
on?
that like above your head when I do the reel.
So so the next one would be a ball of lightning. That's a third theory. It could a ball of lightning could have generated a powerful electromagnetic pulse that caused fires all over. The heat and the pressure of that ball of lightning would have caused a rapid expansion of air, which would have caused a massive blast.
That it could have been enough to last for 3 days, because you did say it was 3 days of light, right?
Of ashes.
Oh, okay.
Which would be the fire. And after 20 years, I mean, we look at wildfires around here.
Oh, true.
Yeah, it would be gone. Like, all the remnants of the fire, you know.
But true about the ash traveling in with the light, because we know people that live in, like Vegas, right?
Yeah, and last week, because of the Southern California fires last week, one of my friends woke up with ash in her pool, and she lives in Vegas.
Yeah.
So... yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So that would make sense also as to why there was so much ash. So all these theories do make sense. We're like, oh, it's the first one. Oh, it's the second. Now we're like, oh, it's definitely the third.
It's a combination of
everything.
all of
Well, and then also the chemical reaction of the lightning ball, of the ball of lightning like hitting the Earth's surface, could have been big enough to cause an eruption and release a large enough amount of energy. So it could have caused the kimberlite explosion. The ball of lightning, so it could have been both.
Oh, good, a combination.
Yeah, like you were just saying, exactly. It could have been both. The only problem is that, once again, there was no crater, but like a ball of lightning of that magnitude should have left some sort of like dent in the earth, right? Unless it was just small enough that it didn't leave a crater, but it did explode. The kimberlite exploded, made that happen, like ruffled the earth a little.
But would that account for the all around the world, the aftershock?
I'm not sure, because I don't know how often kimberlite explosions happen.
Yeah, I'm just curious about that. That is throwing me off, that you could feel it all around.
Yeah. So another one, fourth theory, is volcanic eruption. Although there was no active volcanoes in that region at that time, it's kind of a far-fetched theory. Number 5 is the electromagnetic pulse, which is the EMP theory.
Which makes sense around the world then, right?
Yeah, a massive solar flare caused an electromagnetic pulse. And they think this is like surprisingly probable because of the widespread flattened woods and shattering windows for hundreds of miles, along with all the fires. So this would also explain the lack of physical evidence, that being the meteor crater.
And that also aligns with how you were comparing it to a nuclear blast, how everything goes out.
Did you read my fucking notes?
No.
Because my next note is EMPs are known effects from nuclear explosions like Hiroshima.
No, it's just I'm understanding you. That we're on
this never happens. I don't think this ever happens. You never understand me. Oh my God.
You're talking science stuff, so it's interesting. And I'm sorry I bumped the table and I'm shaking everything.
Okay, so this would resemble a nuclear blast. And that would be why they're like comparing it to Hiroshima.
Yeah, I can see that.
And there's no concrete proof, but I think that's what makes this one the most plausible, in my opinion, is all of that, like the nuclear blast. While the root cause has never been identified, it does beg the question of what if this happens again to that area or even another region on the planet. I mean, this could happen at any time. Whatever happened, it could happen again. And it really shows how fragile the earth really is. And how, like, it might, like, everyone's all worried about global warming or this or that. And that's probably not what's going to be the end of the earth. It's going to be something like a solar flare or like a EMP or, something like that that's its own Earth's doing. Mm-hmm. A kimberlite explosion, something like that, a meteor, asteroid.
The only difference now, though, is we have more technology to know when things are going to happen.
Yeah, knowing
to try
weird
to
things
change
are
them
happening.
and to manipulate them.
Exactly.
Because there's many ways, as we know, how they manipulate.
Yeah, but do you remember that movie? Oh my gosh, what is the name of it? It's so funny, though. And it's about, Don't Look Up.
Yes.
Yeah, and the meteor is coming,
that, yeah.
and they're like, the scientists are like, there's a meteor coming, and then the president's like, don't look up, because you can, like, physically see it coming, and they, like, nobody believed it. It was so stupid.
It was funny, though.
So, yeah, just, it's interesting to like, see, like, how unpredictable the Earth really can be. Like, right now, we could just have this massive earthquake. Do you ever think about that? I always think about it.
I mean, we are in California, and I guess we're known for earthquakes, but I've only really experienced a couple earthquakes that I remember being, like, big earthquakes.
Yeah.
But they weren't even really big. It's like something fell off of our wall.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I've always lived in San Diego County.
I don't think that we have as many as other
LA is worse.
Yeah. Because LA had the Northridge one in 93 or 4. That was a big one.
LA's had some pretty bad ones. Yeah. Like the whole freeway like collapsed and it was pretty bad.
Yeah, and then lately we've been having a lot in high desert in San Diego County. Like where I go to the desert, like where my house is, and I'm always worried it's gonna fall over. And like Palm Springs area, it seems to be more that way than more inland than by the beach. But I don't know, it's
we have always been pretty coastal.
Yeah, so I do always like think like, oh my God, just like right now. And I don't think that there is any notice, if that makes sense. There's nothing that scientists can really do for an earthquake. There's no like
they track it. They do track it.
But if it just happens, I don't think there's any scientific anything for that, because like with a tornado, they can see the rain is coming, the clouds, the temperature drops. They know the temperature, that's what causes a tornado. So they know if there's going to be like tornado warnings. Whenever a tsunami happens, you can see the waves receding back.
So
there's all these like notices, like even if it's only a 10-minute notice, at least it's something. Where with an earthquake, I don't think that they have any. There's nothing.
So my thought about that is they can create all of these things. We already know, we've done lots of episodes on this, but they can't prevent them if they happen naturally.
Naturally, yeah.
But they can give us warning.
But I don't think they can with an earthquake. I don't think earthquakes give any warning. I think it just happens. Because they've been saying the big one's going to happen to California by beachfront property in Arizona since the 40s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. Anyways.
Do you think California's going to fall into the ocean?
It already is in La Jolla Blacksby, Sunset Cliffs, and all that.
Oh yeah,
That's all
we
falling,
did post a video of Sunset Cliffs collapsing. Well, part of it.
What do you guys think happened in Tunguska? Do you think that it's going to happen again? Do you think it happens every 150 years? Do you think that the Earth is as unstable as what?
What if it was aliens landing in their spaceship?
Yep.
And then they just like camped out for 3 days with all their lights on.
Maybe. I mean, you never know. If we did do the alien thing, what if them landing caused a fire and caused all that to happen, and that would be why, or them taking off,
and that's why the trees
everything
were
is
all
flattened because they were taking off. It's all, yeah, and then the fire and the ash from everything going up.
And the light, because it's so bright.
And they just
spaceships
assume.
are really bright.
Yeah. What if it was a massive spaceship, like the Queen Palace spaceship?
The Dark Knight.
Yeah. What's the Dark Knight?
We talked about it.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. I think it's the Dark Knight.
I don't think it is.
Oh, I think it's a Batman movie.
That is a Batman movie. The Dark Knight Rises. What is wrong with you?
No,
Heather?
look up the Dark Knight. There's one it's always floating in our solar, like close to the Earth.
No, I've never heard anything about this.
The
All right,
Dark
guys,
Knight.
we're gonna
UFO.
Okay, UFO. Okay,
Black
Knight.
Sorry.
Satellite conspiracy theory. How funny. No,
I
I don't
was
remember
close.
that. I'll do an episode on that though.
Yeah, we just touched on it in a
If
couple of our
it's enough.
other
How
ones,
funny.
but we've never done a full-on one on the Black Knight.
All right. Well, I'll write that down. Okay. Well, that's our story for now.
That's all, folks.
That's all. Let us know what you think, and thank you so much for listening. And don't forget to
share, like, and subscribe.
and email us at conspiraciesunlocked@gmail.com. Bye.